How to become trustworthy with God when it comes to finances, part 2. Hi, everybody. My name is Serene. I am your financial coach and wealth strategist. What I do is I help women in their 40s and 50s achieve true financial freedom, peace, and wholeness within their spirit, soul, and money so they can start living out the financial plan that God has for their life. So, this is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, I suggest you go back. I got on the same jacket. Here's the thing. We live in such arrogance that we really believe that God has to give us proof that he wants to take care of us, trusting God with finances. In other words, we sit around and we believe that God has to drop a check in the mail and do all kinds of things to us just to get us to come into some kind of trust relationship when it comes to money, that God is better than the spirit of mammon kind of thing, right? And check this out. God, the spirit of mammon don't have nothing on God. But the thing about it is, that's God's way of wooing you back to him. Because we are the ones who are adulterous. We are the ones who lean on our bank accounts and lean on our money and lean on our jobs, lean on credit card debt and credit cards to provide for us. They have become our source. They've become our way of taking care of ourselves. So how do we break that? Well, the first thing is, you have to understand, this thing is not just broken in one fell swoop. It's broken by a series of very conscious decisions that you make over time, right? So in my life, what does that look like? Well, back in 2021, when God told me to leave my job, well, actually God got me fired from my job. He had told me to save up money. And I did. I saved up the money and I did. And from that on, I didn't work in my industry anymore because I retired, basically. But I had money coming in, so it wasn't all that bad. But then the money started to dry up. And then I'm like, okay, Lord, I found myself like, okay, Lord, I need a miracle here. Lord, I need a miracle there. And God would show up, like miraculously speaking, he would show up. But then it came a point where I was only asking God for miracles because I was frustrated because I couldn't control my own financial situation. Fast forward till now. Now I'm completely under God's care, where I'm rebuilding my trust relationship with God. When I say I'm rebuilding, it is meaning that I'm leaning more on him than he is. I'm leaning more onto him. In other words, I decided to say, you know what, Lord, you're Lord of my finances. I'm going to lean on to you for every financial decision because I want you to find me trustworthy when it comes to this thing called money, when it comes to this thing called life, when it comes to this thing called destiny. I want to be one of those people that you can trust when it comes to putting multi-million-dollar contracts in my hand. Because I want to be completely and totally dependent on you. So the first thing you're going to have to do if you want to be found trustworthy with God when it comes to money is you're going to have to learn how to be completely reliant and totally dependent upon him. Regardless to what you got in your bank account, you have to make that decision. And that is a daily decision. And it becomes even, and that daily decision is made every time you get money into your hand. Instead of you thinking you know what to do with the money, you need to ask God what he wants you to do with that money, which is hard to do, but it's necessary to do. But then again, if you want to be found trustworthy with God, you're going to have to make these small incremental decisions on a daily basis to prove to God that you are worthy of what he has for you, especially when it comes to finances. Far too often, our whole life, including my life, we've spent dependent on jobs and bank accounts and credit cards to uphold us in this economic system. And all that has done is become an idol before God, a stench before God. And God will always do two things when it comes to our idols. He will either tear them down, if we allow it. He will either tear them down or he will let you live with them. He's good with either way. You see, God never changes. He's never changed It's us that change. It's us that run after other things. It's us that chases after every single idol on the planet. The latest credit card or the newest job that pays more money, or whatever it is, because you got to get a new job because whatever the idol is that you dependent on in this season, that's the thing that has to go. But that comes with small incremental decisions. Now, I can talk about the spiritual aspect of it, and I probably will in another video some other time. But for now, if you want to be someone whom God can trust, start making small incremental decisions by inviting God in and asking him what he wants you to do with what he's giving you over what you should be doing or what you think you ought to be doing. So that's all I have for this video. This is part 2 of becoming someone whom God can trust with finances. So please like, follow, and share. And I love you guys to life. And I'll talk with you later.